Okay, friends, so what's the point in burning biofuels? As an introduction, to biofuels, we have to, of course, understand why people burn biofuels. And there's two primary reasons why people burn biofuels. The first is ethical reasons. By burning biofuels, we don't contribute fossil fuel CO2 to the atmosphere. And CO2, of course, is a recognized global warming or greenhouse gas. Those who burn biofuels are simply taking atmospheric CO2 or CO2 out of the atmosphere, converting it into fuel, and burning it, so that CO2 is coming out of the atmosphere and going back in again. Whereas if we burn fossil fuels, what we're doing is we're taking CO2 that's been tied up in a geological formation for tens of millions of years, and we're re-releasing that CO2 into the atmosphere. So that CO2 that's the product of burning fossil fuels contributes to global warming through releasing CO2 that has otherwise been tied up into the atmosphere. Now, the other reason why people burn biofuels is because burning biofuels is really also about recycling about recycling hydrocarbons. Most people who burn, let's say, biodiesel or make biodiesel are getting waste vegetable oil and converting it to diesel fuel and burning it into a diesel engine. So that vegetable oil gets used twice before it's consumed. Waste oils can be acquired either very inexpensively or oftentimes free. The main source for waste vegetable oil is restaurants, because many restaurants have a fryer. Fryers use about 20 gallons of vegetable oil, and that oil has to be changed out on a fairly regular basis. And so behind most restaurants, there's a large rectangular bin that holds about 150 gallons of oil, and it's called a tallow bin. And the tallow bin is where the restaurant kitchen stores their waste vegetable oil. Now, it turns out that the tallow company charges the restaurant roughly $1 a gallon to empty and dispose of that waste vegetable oil. So it's to the advantage of the restaurant to allow amateurs such as myself and many thousands of others to acquire that vegetable oil for free, so that we turn it into fuel. And if we're getting that oil for free, then all we're really having to pay for is the processing of the fuel. Turns out, I've done some calculation, and it costs me about 50 cents a gallon to make my fuel. So economically, it's to my advantage when right now it's $3 per gallon for diesel fuel. Okay, so the economic reasons motivate a lot of people, but if their primary motivation is economic, then they need not focus on vegetable oils. They could be using recycled motor oil, recycled transmission fluid, recycled hydraulic fluids, and so forth, because oil is oil. And I don't know if one can turn mineral oils into biodiesel, and I personally wouldn't bother to do that, since I've discovered that all I have to do is add some gasoline to any waste oil, wait around for about an hour or a day, and 90% of the contaminants will precipitate out, and then I drain those contaminants off, and then I filter the rest into my fuel tank. To me, there's no point in making biodiesel. Making biodiesel is a lot of trouble for not much effect. Okay, so this is a typical tallow bin. Most restaurants and many grocery stores have a rectangular tank like this. It's provided by the tallow company, therefore it's the property of the tallow company, and its contents are also the property of the tallow company. but most restaurants will have a bin like this, and this is the lid where they open it up and dump in the waste oil, and then the tallow company comes along about once a month to empty it. So if you want to recycle waste oils to turn into fuel, then you really shouldn't be taking it out of these bins because the contents is the property of the tallow company. But you could approach the manager of the grocery store or the restaurant and to see if they would allow you to have the oil before they put it in the bin. And oftentimes our restaurant manager will be very happy to let you have that oil because, as I said, it costs the restaurant about $1 a gallon to have that oil disposed of. And most restaurants generate about 100 to 150 gallons of waste oil every month. One of the things to get about automobiles that burn biofuels is that their exhaust is biodegradable.